Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh. Bashimi, Hawashai, Bashimi, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, noise in the gospel broad, looking up the standard of Yahweh, Bashimi, Hawashai, wherever it may be. It's the Aki Mahaloya coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Lords will be edifying. This is going into, this was sent in a group meet today for one of Akim. And just kind of just briefing over it, man. Just the title. It speaks for itself. It says, auto ISD students punished for slave trade auction on Snapchat of black classmates. And just through the Spirit, you know that that's Esau, Edom, that's basically coming against the Israelites because the hatred is rising up, like the apostles always stated, we've always stated, and the men that teach the likewise manner. All Israelites from the One West even stated that in these last days, Esau, Edom was going to start to show his devil horns. Okay, he was going to start showing his horns because there was a video that surfaced yesterday of this Jake walking through his neighborhood, and this Edomite couple pretty much was harassing him. And the Edomite guy threatened to beat the hell out of him, man, because he said, you don't belong in his neighborhood. You know, he was all in Jake face and shit like that, man. And Jake, man, he didn't know what to do. So I believe allegedly that day you had a couple of Jake protesters that went and marched on his Edomite's house, because the tension has been growing ever since this guy, the one, I think his name is the one Wright or something, Salaki if I got the name wrong, but the one something that was gunned down by cops when the Edomite police officer specified that she tried to go for her taser. All right, she had her gun out like a whole 30-some plus seconds. Then she let off shots in this dude, man. So right there should have told you that. This is dang. Hold on one second, I'm at this light. That right there should have told you, Jakes, that the so-called white man Esau Edom has a perpetual hatred for you. I don't know what it's going to take for you to realize it, but like I said, we're entering these last days. Well, we're in the last days, and things are going to get hectic for our people, man. And this man who you've put your trust in for so long is getting ready to rise up against you. So anyway, reading the article, is actually a video on it. But I'm gonna kind of read the article, then play the video. But it says that the Alito ISD students had a pretend slave trade auction on social media. And you notice that's the Most High that's rousing the pot, so to speak. He's raising that tension of pot of hatred, because now you're getting ready to have these class riots / race riots in America. You see what I'm saying? So those of us out here that's in to know, we understand to be mentally prepared for what's getting ready to happen, because, hey, don't get it twisted. Esau hates the prophets too, but we just have that protection around us, unlike the rest of you tribes, man, because you tribes, you negated the word of the Heavenly Father. So it says Fox 4 obtained a screenshot of part of the conversation held on Snapchat. It said it is too graphic to show, but it shows students discussing how they will pay to buy back their black classmates. And we always stated that if Esau had his way, he'll put your ass right back in slavery. For all you Jakes out there that got Edomite friends, all you demons out there that say, oh, well, you know, I have a couple of good white friends. Well, your alleged white friends don't feel the same way about you, because if they had their way, they will buy us back, man, and they will be hanging us from light poles and trees, etc. Because Yahweh even said, he said, cursed be him that hangeth from a tree. And hey, they hung Yahweh from the tree, or the cross, whatever you want to consider. He suffered a lynching, crucifixion, and Jake did too, you know, roughly 2,000 years in the future. Curse be every man that hung it from a tree. So if they had their ways, they'd be hanging you from gallows as we speak, because these devils' hatred, they haven't left. All right, they still feel the same goddamn way about us. And we've been telling Jake for the longest, man. A lot of you that got those so-called white friends, you're gonna realize that the so-called white man, he never was your friend. No matter if he give you a job or give you a raise, or he invite you over to drink Budweiser and eat ballpark franks and watch the baseball game, this devil got a perpetual hatred for you, man. And you can see it out in his spirit, especially the Shedomite, that she-devil that you Negroes are so in love with, man. Which, you know, you can bot white women, but overall, man, you got Jake that be head over heels for these Shedomites, these she-devils. When she got more of a hatred for you, her hatred is just about the same for you as her husband's is. So our counterpart, they both have the same amount of hatred for you. In many cases, she blade out shows you she hates you because Jake is soft on a white woman, man. You know, the so-called white woman. You know, he gives her a pass, which I don't know why, but still, okay? Anyway, it says after the investigation, it says here, the district says it disciplined the students involved in cyberbullying, okay, which that is a form of cyberbullying. But don't believe it or not, them districts, they feel the same way too, but they have what they call, I believe it's affirmative action, when they can't allegedly discriminate against Jake. But the reason why they hired Jake and sent Jake to these schools, and the reason why you fill out that self-voluntary report when it tells your ethnicity or racial background and, you know, minority status, the reason why they have you to fill that out is because they get a tax break. You know, every so-called Negroes that they hire, or Hispanic or Native American, they get money for it. So it's not the fact they want to hire you, but they look forward to hiring minorities because it's like slave. It's like buying slaves or selling slaves. You know, you sometimes if you're in front of the slave, you'll get an incentive with it. You see, like if you're watching that movie Django, when they was going into the Mandingo trading, etc., how they were worth something. So ultimately, when Negroes are hired on a job, no matter what job you are at, you fill out that questionnaire report because they get like a tax break or something for hiring so-called people of color, so-called minorities, which in reality, we're really not the minority. We're really the majority. Okay, like they say, the majority rules. But let Esau tells you we're the minority because he's the devil. But it says here, in racial harassment, it stated that they noted the incident caused a lot of pain for the victims and their families and other students of color. And if this don't wake you niggas up, I don't know what will. Because these are people you blatantly go to school with. These are people that you blatantly see at lunch break, or that you blatantly are seeing at the homecoming or the prom dance or whatever you want to call it. These are the same people. You see what I'm saying? So just because they make a formal apology in public doesn't mean that they, you know, that means that they really feel that way. Like I can easily apologize to somebody and don't even mean it. You know, it's easy to redact on stuff nowadays. But anyway, let me see something. Give me a second. Reading on. It says here, the district will not say what type of punishment these kids receive, but it says, but how many were punished for their relationships with the students they bullied. But the district said law enforcement was part of the investigation, but will not say whether criminal charges were considered. And you know what? Probably not. You know, in most cases, they really wouldn't care about discrimination on so-called people of color because this whole country was built on it. You see what I'm saying? For those of you out there that may think just because you got a prestigious job that this society is for your benefit, and in fact it's a detriment unto you. As a matter of fact, let's get a couple of precepts. I did a word search on enemies hate, and this is the book of Leviticus 26 and 17. This is what happens if we broke the commandments. It says, and I will set my face against you, and ye should be slain before your enemies, okay? Your enemies. It says, they that hate you shall reign over you, and you should flee when none pursueth you. And who hates us? The so-called white man. Any other nations hates us. All right, it's not just Esau. All these nations have a proverbial hatred against the children of Israel. It just Esau, Edom, he blatantly shows it in most cases. In some cases, he hides it. But nonetheless, it's in their spirit to hate you because that's how the Lord set it up. Like it should be in our spirit to hate them. But you Jakes, you don't like pushing the righteous hate card, the indignation. Because believe it or not, the Most High Yahweh have indignation against these heathens, whether you believe that or not. But it says Tony Crawford Parker is a county activist who says he's learned about the bullying over the weekend, and he told the Fox 4 a larger conversation needs to happen in Parker County. And this is a quote. He says, I would say the community itself needs to sit down and address this at our schools and in our learning facilities. And if they're not going to learn the right way there, where are they going to learn it at? He says. And that's right, because, you know, you got to understand that this long systemic way of racism has been taught at home. You see what I'm saying? Because they say the first teachers are the parents, and that's actually true because they learn what they learned through people at home. That's just plain blank period. You know, they get it from that. They don't go to school or learning. They already know it by the time they enter the school. But nonetheless, through the spirit, that's the way that the Lord set it up once again. All right. And reading here, it reads, and the right way to go about your relationships with black people. See, there you go. That's that passive aggressive shit because they saying black people when we're not even black. Okay. We're people, we're shades of brown, different shades of brown. So when they put black on there, that's a negative connotation right there. That's telling you how they really feel about you because they're calling you black. Why aren't they calling you the children of Israel? because to lie to somebody ultimately about who they are means you hate them. And it says, but black people without deeming them and embarrassing them for a laugh. But Crawford says he'll be working with the Parker County NAACP to encourage the district to hold more open discussions about race and what students. But the district says it will address the issues with so-called district-led educational opportunities. Like what that's going to do, you know. Nonetheless, man, the Most High has set his face against you, Jakes. This is the reason why you're going through what you're going through. Deuteronomy 30:7, it says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies. So it's going to be a tipsy turn. It's going to be a role reversal, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? It's going to come to the point that our people are going to realize who the enemy are, and we're going to put hell on them in the kingdom. That's why it says, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, Esau, Edom being at the top of the pillar. All right. Let's go down here to the book of Psalms 18:40 says, thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies that I might destroy them that hate me. He was going into the Edomites. Psalms 21:8, it says, thy hand shall find out all thy enemies, and thy right hand shall find out all those that hate thee. Esau, Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, all these nations have a proverbial hatred against Jake. Okay, Psalms 25:19, consider my enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with a cruel hatred. And the fact that they took to social media with this rhetoric shows you shows you how they feel about our people, you know, because this is the video here saying the same thing as the article, I'm assuming. Let's see something. Oh, it's not playing. And you can just tell by the countenance of Esau that he's a demon, man, you know. Yep, this is Psalms 83. This is the book of Psalms 83:2. It says, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they have hated thee, have lifted up the head, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And they have said, come and let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right. So going back on the slave trade, etc., that right there is showing you through the spirit that they're trying to do away with the heritage, because for the simple fact, coming over here, we lost our heritage. You know, like that movie Kunta Kinte. What they call his ass, they beat that name into him. Said Kunta Kinte. But he refused at first, but they kept putting hell on him, which represents them beating the nationality out of our people. You see? And it says here, they have consulted together with one consent, and they are confederate against thee. Tabernacles of Edom, which is white men, Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Moab, Chinese, Hagarenes. You got those Hamitic nations, Gabal, Ammon, Japanese, Amalek, Esau, Philistines, with the Habits of Tyre, Philistines being them Hamitic nations, and then you got some Ishmaelites mixed in between, and you got them coolies, man. It says Assyrians also join with them, and they have hope in the children of Lot. So there you go, brothers. We know what it is, but our people, they steady in this la-la land, and this is the reason why you men through the spirit, man, you're going to get, you know, these 2/3, they're going to get the sword, because the scriptures say those that are joined to them shall fall by the sword, roughly paraphrasing it. All right, last precept here. This is the book of Psalms 44:14. This is a good one. This is a byword. This is the book of Psalms 44. And I'm going to start at verses 9. It says, but thou hast cast off and put us to shame. That's a shameful thing, them bringing up the accounts of slaves. But if you bring up the fact that they were low-life bed wenches and dogs during the time of the Byzantine Empire or the Dark Ages, they will look down on that, because they will try to sweep that under the rug. It's how that never happened. Dark Ages, it was just dark. It was the Black Plague, wop, blop. When they don't even know the history behind these things. It says here, they have put us to shame, and goes not forth with our armies. But thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil us for themselves. Esau, okay? Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen, and they sell thy people for naught, and does not increase thy wealth by thy price, right? That's why I was going into the whole thing about working. You see, when they sell you to these different jobs, etc., you put an application, or even then in slavery, you ain't worth anything, man. Like the reparations, you ain't getting shit. Japanese got shit. These gooks, they're getting something. Talking about anti or Asian hate, or some stop Asian hate. They're getting money for it, but you ain't got no damn money or reparations for getting discriminated against for the last 500 plus years. You see? That's what it says, does not increase thy wealth by their price. And thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them round about us. And thou makest us a byword among the heathen, and a shaking the head among the people. Okay, so there you go, man. That's that hatred. People see us and they shake their heads because, we supposed to be the children of the Most High. And I ain't gonna say we are, but you 2/3 supposed to represent Yahweh Shem Yahushua too. But yet you putting on dresses, man. You selling shoes with blood in it and shit like that. Selling out to the Baphomet. You supposed to be the princes and daughters of the Most High, and yeah, you acting like a bunch of degenerates, man. You see why the other nations hate you. Anyway, this is the book of Deuteronomy 28:48. It says, Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and thirst and nakedness and in the want of all things. And he should put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right, and that's that slavery, that yoke of iron. And it says, and the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor unto the young. So, hey, notice Esau put a bullet in that little 20-year-old dude, man. Same thing with Tamir Rice. I think he was like 12, if I'm not mistaken. He was a young cat. Esau put a bullet in that jig, man. Same thing with Emmett Till. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, Esau, he don't give a shit. But y'all gonna find out the hard way. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And with that, Shalom and a bubble ball.